Hello everyone, in this video we will go through the process of installing the OpenDHCP server. First thing we want to do is open Google Chrome or any other web browser and we type OpenDHCP. That's the first link that says OpenDHCP server Windows Linux download. It's been hosted by SourceForge and it is safe to download, so we'll go and click the download. And you should see it here on downloads. You click it, more information, run anyway. And it's okay to install it on C drive. Click next, install, and you'll see in the background, if you have already installed it, which I did, you will see that it says that there is already an installation there, but just ignore that and press yes. Don't worry, ignore about this error, and it will uninstall the previous version, close this window and install the new one, and you can click finish. Right, now, so we will go to C and then you'll find the folder OpenDHCP server. I always run it as a standalone. If there is a service running in the background, I recommend to remove it. So run this remove service and click run as admin. And then we can go to the options there, OpenDHCP INI. And here you can set up as you like it. So I will set it to this static IP, mine, but you can of course change it to whatever you want according to your network network settings. I think it's well documented, everything here, and I'm searching the range set. Okay, the DHCP range is from 1 to 254. I'm going to put it from 5 to 10. Those IPs will be the reserved IPs for the OpenIPC camera or the NVR. And I think that's all. There are a lot of settings here, including some MAC addresses that you can set manually if you want to, but we will not go through all this stuff. We don't need it. Right, now we double click this run standalone and we will see the server has been started. But before we continue, we're going to close this. We need to change our IP to the one that we set it. Oh, if you see this popping up, it's not a virus, so you can create an exception safely. It's because it thinks that the antivirus thinks that it's a virus. It's the OpenDHCP. Something is wrong, so don't worry about it. It's not a virus. It's a false alarm. Right. What I was saying is that we need now to set up our static IP, and in order to do that, you need to go to the network settings. I'm gonna show it to anyone who might not know that how it's done. So you click on the Wi-Fi button here, and you go to network internet settings. And then you change adapter options. And you right click on your local on your wired network adapter and properties. And we want to set this IP to the one that we set inside the ini file. Don't worry about the default gateway or the DNS. If you want to have internet through that network adapter, then you need to set it as well. But we're not going to do that because we will have direct link from the laptop to the camera by using one of these network standard cables. So we will not have actually internet from this network adapter. We will be using the wireless adapter for internet and the wired adapter to set up our camera. Okay. Right. So now we start again our standalone server, and you can now see that it is listening on that IP, and we're going to use. Okay, let me put this a little bit further away. We are going to connect one end the cable. And then we are going to plug to this adapter. This adapter to this plug, to this socket. Make sure you align correctly the pins. You don't want to break any pin. And gently push it in there. And you plug the other side. Of course, when you are working on the bench, you should always use a fan. Very important to use a fan to cool down all the components, because when you are flying up in the air, you have plenty of airflow, so no problem with that. But while you're working on the bench, you will need heat sinks. You will need a fan to blow into those hardware equipment that we bought very cheap, and they are not meant to work as we want them in the maximum capacity that they have. That's why originally they come without heat sinks or any other components to reduce their heat. So please always use a fan while you're working on the bench. Okay, so I had to change a little bit the IP range because of my network setup was a little bit different. Anyway, I just want to show you what I did change. I set it from 0.1 to 0.10. That's the only thing I changed. And now if I move back a little bit, this one, try to bring everything. Okay, so I'm gonna start the server. And you can see has been detected. See? I'm going to move a little bit the fan blowing this See, there's a lot of activity going on. So what we can do now is 192.168.0.1. This is the IP. Should be able to connect. If I disconnect completely my Wi-Fi, maybe that's why. Because it gave this IP, which is also on the network of the wireless adapter. There we go. And now you see that this message don't work. Click yes, root 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're in. Of course, we don't have internet connection, but we do have a direct link from the camera, which is the drone now, to the laptop. And that is the setup of the DHCP server. Now, if we want to transfer the keys from, let's say, for example, we want to keep a backup of the drone key of this drone, we start a window, a command prompt window, and we go to C, right? And then we type the command scp root at 192.168.0.1, which is the IP of the camera. Upper lower dot slash etc slash drone.key, which is the drone key that we want to transfer, slash users slash owner. Click enter. And you click yes, you type yes here. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's it. And now if we go to C users owner, there's our file which is saved. And with this method we can basically transfer anything from the camera to the laptop. Like, let's say, for example, we want to transfer. If you go move the arrow up, goes to the previous command. So if you want to transfer from the, you have, of course, you need to know where is the location of the file that you want to transfer, right? So in order to do that, going back to the SSH, if you type cd/etc/ and then ls, which stands for list, you will find all the files that you want. So these files, there are a lot of configuration files, a lot of settings. All the settings are here basically, including the drone key. Can you see that here? And let's say, for example, we want to back up this file, the majestic. The majestic YAML file is the file that saves the resolution, the frames per second, and the bitrate and all those stuff. Going back here, we will delete this and type majestic.yaml. Okay, and there. One, two, three, four, five, and there. And now we have the majestic file here. And if you right click, open with, let's make it default, you will see all the settings of the majestic. You can edit any settings you want here. And have it as a backup. If you want to do an upgrade, go to the next version, for example, you would want to keep a backup of your drone.key and your majestic file and your network settings, the WFB-ng settings. So yeah, I always keep a backup before I sys upgrade to the next version. That makes it easier for me. Of course, keep in mind that sometimes when we do an upgrade, there are some additional settings introduced, and that means make sure that before you restore the backup, compare the two files, and if you see new settings, newly introduced settings, do not restore the backup. You have to go manually add every setting that you kept from the backup to the new file. Otherwise you will probably break the system and you will need to go start all over again. So now if you want to restore the file that you kept as a backup, let's restore the drone.key, for example. You want to go to the command prompt, and then you will write this command reversed. So you type scp, first scp /users/owner. You need to use absolute paths for the files. You cannot just type drone.key, because the drone.key is not located on the C. It is located on users/owner/drone.key. And then where do you want to send that file? Okay, hit enter. You wait for the password from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's it. You transfer it from the laptop this time to the camera via a peer-to-peer direct link network. You restored basically the file that you kept earlier. And I hope that helped you understand how the direct connection works. And very similarly, you can actually use to transfer files from the laptop to the NVR, or from the NVR to the laptop, because you would want to do that. You want to transfer the drone.key from the NVR to the laptop, and then that drone.key you want to transfer it again from the laptop to the drone.